I will not. I will not live my life as a prisoner.
I understand,
I
but
will not live my life as a prisoner. That is the way to set a good example for your children, right?
mm,
Not to live your life as a
mhm, mhm,
prisoner. Okay, you can't get respect from people if you live your life by other people's rules. That
mm,
that does not get you respect. Doesn't get you respect from friends. Doesn't get you respect from family. Doesn't get you respect from good people. Doesn't get you respect from your children, right? But yeah, well, that's part of this. That's part of this new world, right?
mm,
You can't travel unless you have unless you have your new passport. So
mhm,
I don't know. I don't care.
mm,
I really don't care.
mm,
I don't. I would rather be. I would rather do something, right? If the choice is do nothing or do something, I would rather
mhm,
do something.
mhm. Yeah.
So I see no reason to live if you are scared.
Mm,
I see no reason to live if you're scared. There's no point, right? Um, and you have to set a good example for other people. There's two opposites, right? One is
mm,
to be brave, and the other is to be a coward. And these are opposites, yeah?
mhm,
Yeah, and if you are a coward, you can't get respect from anybody, so
mm,
and it doesn't help anybody. So the only choice is to be brave and to do things. You know
mm,
what? It's difficult times and difficult situations. What destroyed communism? What destroyed communism? A lot of people taking risks destroyed communism. A lot of people
mm,
died.
mm. I know.
A lot of people died so that other people could be free. So
Mm,
this is this is the point in time in history.
mm,
Every generation has
mm,
its test. Every
mm,
generation has its test. Your generation has its test. My generation's having its test. My children's generation
mhm,
will have
mhm.
its test. So um, so it's interesting to see how people act and how people react and how people respond to to problems and crisis. It's all about control and manipulation. It's all about control and
Mhm,
manipulation. Um,
mhm,
and as I said to many people last week, this is
mhm,
about it's you have government control and corporate control, and then you have super corporate control. And your super corporate control is your World Health Organization, it's
mhm,
the IMF, it's the World Economic Forum, it's the World
mhm,
Bank,
mhm,
it's the European Union, it's the
mhm,
uh, international trade agreements,
mhm, mhm,
um, and it's it's complicated, and
mhm,
countries are just countries are just farms.
mhm,
No,
mhm,
really, countries are just farms. They are places, and the people are animals. That's the imagination of it. That's the imagination. You know how if you're in a plane and you look out of the window and you look at the land, you see all these fields. Yeah. So you're in a plane, you look out the window and
Mhm.
you see all these fields, and
I have problem. Mhm.
And think about if you have a world map, a map of the world. It's the same thing. You look at the map of the world and you see all of these areas.
Mhm.
And so in the modern world, the big organizations are the farmers, and the countries are the farms, and the people are the animals. Really, the people are the animals because think about how we consume, right?
Mm.
We 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 only we only consume so that we can produce. Now
Mhm.
think about it really carefully. We only consume so that we can produce.
Mhm.
That's no different from animals on a farm.
Mhm.
That's no different from animals on a farm,
Mhm.
right? You
Similar.
feed the animals, they get bigger, and then they have more animals or chop chop chop, right? Hum 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 hum, right? Right, right. And so the people are the animals. The people we work to make money,
Mm.
to buy food,
Mm.
to give us energy so that we can
Mhm.
work.
Yes. Ah, it's logic.
It's a it's a circle.
Exactly, yeah.
It's a circle. And of course, life is because we're human beings, life is a
Mhm.
little bit different from
Mm.
animals because we're creative. We are very often not logical, and we do crazy stuff like we build rockets and try to get into space, and we go swimming in the sea for no reason, and we paint
Mhm.
pictures,
Yeah.
and so we do some of these different things. But basically, we work so that we can make money, so that we can buy food and have a place to live, so that we can be safe, so that we can work, and
Yeah.
and 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 that is the cycle. That is the world that we live within, and and so we're not very much different from how
Mhm.
animals live on farms, and we had a system for the last 100 years, maybe 200, depends where you live,
Mhm.
where the animals were very free.
Mhm.
We were free to, there were no fences, right?
Mhm.
You could
Mhm.
go over there, you could go over
Mhm.
there,
Yes.
you could travel. You didn't need permission. You could do what you wanted, and that was a little bit of a problem for the
Mm.
farmers,
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
right? That the
Mhm.
farmers didn't like this fact, so they decided to build fences
Mhm.
and to create rules for the
Brilliant.
people. Very similar to George Orwell's Animal Farm. The writer George Orwell wrote a famous
Mhm.
book, Animal Farm.
Mhm.
It was about
I didn't read.
it's it's a parody of communism,
Oh.
yeah.
Mhm.
But basically, the animals take over the farm from the farmers, but the animals are actually worse than the farmers, right?
Mhm.
Because the animals don't understand how to build a farm, how to maintain a farm, how to plan and organize a farm, how to work on a farm. They just see power and control. They don't see all the work and all the effort that goes into it. And this is the same with for example, South Africa,
Mhm.
right? So South Africa was all these tribes fighting each other in wars for hundreds
Mhm.
of years, and Britain was part of that, and China was part of
Mhm.
that, and so it was a mess. But white Europeans took control of South Africa, colonized it, brought
Mhm.
some order and structure, brought the rule of law, brought people together, built cities, allowed commerce, created farms, produced food. This was not the black culture there. This was the white immigrant
Right.
culture. Yeah, white immigrant culture that
Yeah.
went
Yeah.
there. And
Mhm.
then, and then somebody said to the black people, "This is your land. This is not the land of the white people,"
Mhm.
which is true. That's true,
Mhm.
but it doesn't make it a good idea to say bye bye white people, give black people everything, because the blacks didn't build the infrastructure. They don't have a history of working with democracy. They don't
Mhm.
understand
Mhm.
negotiation so well. They don't know how to run farms, and so big problems, right? Big problems. And so there, and we see this. We see we see this. We want power. We want control. We want to take over. We see this now. But these people are either young and stupid or just manipulative and bad.
Mhm.
There's
Yes.
there's there's nothing positive
Mhm.
there. And it's the most classic example goes back to the Bolshevik Revolution
Mhm.
in
Yes.
in Russia, where and 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 that's complicated, but the the
Mm.
Bolsheviks sold a lie to the Russian people that life will be so much better if you don't have a king, if you don't have a queen, if
Mhm.
you don't have
Mhm.
royalty, if you
Mhm.
don't have this history, if you build a new
They
utopia.
killed.
Yeah. They killed them all, right? They killed them all. Yeah, the yeah, the same with the Jacobean revolution in France, right? They
Mhm.
just
Mhm.
the people will rise up and the people will have power and take control away, but didn't happen, right? It was all manipulation.
Yes. Mhm.
And I remember when I was young, let's see, 20 years old, right? I remember when I was 20, I lived in London,
Mhm.
and there were a lot of protests against the government, and
Mhm.
there were riots and some violence in the streets,
Mhm.
and I was a little bit a part of that, and my friends were a lot a lot a part of it, but I was a little bit a part of
Mhm.
it. But
Mhm.
but I know that I was stupid, right?
Mhm.
But I know that I was stupid because I was young and I knew that something was wrong, but I didn't know what I was fighting for or who I was
Mhm.
fighting for. And and yeah, I this week I heard the most fantastic quote. This week I heard somebody say,
Mhm.
"When you are young,
Mhm.
you should be liberal,
Mhm.
but as you get older,
Mhm.
you should become conservative."
Yes.
Right?
Mhm.
And I
Mhm.
thought about that, and I thought that's really good because because the system says you should be one thing. You should be a liberal, or you should be a laborite, or a conservative, or a Republican, or a Democrat, or
Mhm.
a nationalist, or you should be one. But No, when you're younger and you have more freedom, when
Mm-hmm.
people do no, the younger people they don't have more freedom. They have less responsibility. That's it. They
Mm-hmm.
don't have more freedom because they don't have the money for freedom because
Oh, yes.
freedom costs money, right? So
Mm-hmm.
so younger people are more free because they have less responsibility, so they can be liberal with their time, with their friendships, with their
Mm-hmm.
relationships, with their work.
Mm-hmm.
But as you get older, you must grow and change. And as you grow and you change, you have more experience, you then become more conservative because you see that you learn that fast change
Rychlá změna.
is not it's not
Mm-hmm.
always a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's not always
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you need to change quickly, but you have to think first.
Mm-hmm.
You really have to think first before
Mm-hmm.
you make that change. And and uh, and this is true for I think for the intelligent people I know that you have a lot of different experiences when you're young, but as you get older, you have work and a family and partnership and home and things to look after. So you become more. You take you say when you're younger, you're like, I will do it. Party, 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 party. Right? Yeah. Yeah.
older,
Another
older
beer.
people are jsou opatrnější, jsou
More careful.
more careful, yes.
Yeah, more careful. Yeah, yeah, naturally, because maybe we have family, maybe we have
No? Yes.
children.
Yes.
You don't climb trees because you maybe you fall, right?
Yeah.
Right. So older people become more careful and so more conservative naturally.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Young people just do it, and older people they say, wait a minute, think first. Wait till tomorrow, right? Don't make a decision today. Wait until tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And and so I remember when I was younger, and I was yeah no um done with
Mm-hmm.
the government, and
Mm-hmm.
but what are you fighting for, and who is better, and
Mm-hmm.
it's really difficult
Mm-hmm.
to see and to know these things. And most young people they don't understand politics. They don't have a business or a company. They don't understand negotiation. They don't understand marketing. They don't
Mm-hmm.
understand the media and all of those important elements. And so that's what was sold as part of the Bolshevik Revolution. Yeah, it
Mm-hmm.
was it
Mm-hmm.
was sold to the young people can make a change and improve history, and it's crazy. There were only about 200 Bolsheviks. It's a very small group of people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. It was a very very small group of people. Um, but they had they had weapons, right? They
Mm-hmm.
had guns, and they had a lot of money, right?
Mm-hmm.
For to influence and
Mm-hmm.
buy the influence of people. Um, and they also had the support. See, the Bolsheviks were actually from New York. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. They were a group of I can't remember if they were former Russians. I think they were Russian immigrants, or the children of Russian immigrants who were trained in New York and
Mm-hmm.
then sent back to Russia.
Mm-hmm.
It was a big international operation,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
and it was it was powerful Anglo-American interests that trained them and
Mhm.
sent them there
Mhm.
because, big history lesson, because the Russian Tsar was popularizing American culture in Russia.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep.
Mhm. Mhm.
Because America was successful and popular,
Mhm.
and naturally everybody wanted success.
Yeah.
And success at that time was copying technological development, and America was the most developed
Mhm.
society at that point. And so the Russian Tsar had plans to develop the infrastructure of Russia, roads, rail, communication
Mhm.
links,
Mhm.
um, the same way that America grew and developed, and to develop Russia on an American principled constitutional culture.
Mhm. Mhm.
And this scared the European monarchies. This
Mhm.
frightened the European monarchies. This
Mhm.
this frightened the German monarchy. It frightened the British monarchy,
Mhm. Yes.
um, and this was a Victorian era, Victorian time of Queen Victoria, where Victoria was seen as the, sitting on top of the world, or
Mhm.
she was one of the people in the
Mhm.
network at the top. And so there was an understanding that Russia wanted to break from the European system, which was feudalism. It was a feudal system.
Feudalism. Mhm. Mhm. Yes.
It was a feudal system, and follow the American system.
Mhm.
And so the big powers of Europe, Anglo-American interests, European banking interests,
Mhm.
famous families, the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, um,
Mhm.
got together and decided that there needed that if they wanted to keep Europe together,
Mhm.
then the czars had to go. And so they trained Russian immigrants and children of Russian immigrants in New York, and they gave them a lot of money, and they moved
Mhm.
them to Russia, and they worked together with a lot of German influences, a lot of German schools,
Mhm.
universities, London
Mhm.
School of Economics, and of course the work of Marx and Engels.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah,
Yes.
who were who were writers. They were
Mhm.
writers,
Mhm.
idealists,
Ideal. Yes.
people who believed that utopia, the magic
Mhm.
paradise,
Yeah.
could exist. That 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 the people at the bottom
Mm.
could do the same as the people at the top.
Mhm.
Which
Mhm.
at that time, it's a nice idea, but
Mm.
not not all the workers can be the boss. It's just
Mhm.
it's just life. It's just not possible. Not
Mhm. No, that's
not
not.
not not all the players can be the captain.
Mm.
Not all the players can be the manager, right?
Yes, of
It's
course.
so there's sort of different
Mm.
positions and different places for
Mm.
everybody. And what we are seeing right now is a very similar
Similar. Mhm.
similar strategy of uh, limitation of freedom, limitation of travel, and promotion that resistance is only possible. This is not true, this is a lie. Resistance is only possible through violence. Because that's what the media says.
Mm-hmm.
Look at these protesters. They're spraying graffiti, and they're fighting with people on the street, and
Mm-hmm.
they're throwing things, and they're burning cars, and
Yeah.
yeah, and this is what this is what the media
Mm-hmm.
says it's protest.
Mm-hmm. I watched it on TV.
Yeah, but it's not protest.
No protest.
It's violence. Because protest is
Mm-hmm.
peaceful, right?
Yes. Spokojnie, yeah.
Yeah. But real protest is peaceful.
Mm-hmm.
Controlled protest is
Mm-hmm.
violent.
Mm-hmm. Nastily, yes.
Yeah, it's where people are paid money to go out
Mm-hmm.
into the street
Yeah.
and to do stupid things, like people against fascism who attack the statue of Winston Churchill.
Why?
Yeah, Winston Churchill fought against the German fascist system, right?
Yeah.
This is crazy. Or in America, the protesters attacked the Lincoln Memorial for President Lincoln. Yeah,
Yeah, go. Mm-hmm.
and it was Lincoln who ended slavery, right? Lincoln ended slavery in the
Mm-hmm.
United States, and the black protesters attacked the Lincoln
Yes.
statue.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
This is
Mm-hmm.
so it's stupid, which means it's not real.
Yes, but yes.
It's not real.
Real.
It's
Mm-hmm.
controlled. It's controlled to stop real people like you and me going out and doing something because we don't want to be with the violent people, the aggressive people,
Of course.
the crazy people, because they're crazy, the stupid people.
People. Mm-hmm.
And so it's a perfect design.
Yes.
It's a perfect design. We want to protest, but if we protest, then we are with the crazy people. So so this is a little bit of what we see in Britain right now, in France, in the United States, in Brazil as well. Right now, a lot of problems. And if you understand, Britain, the United States, and Brazil are the three most conservative countries in the world right now. Brazil is led by a conservative president. The United States is led by a conservative president. Look, good or bad, I don't know, right? I just, Monday's good, Tuesday's bad, right? It's a little
You
bit
don't
crazy.
know.
And Britain with Brexit is a conservative country with Brexit, right? So these problems, or the biggest numbers of these problems, are in conservative countries.
Yes.
Now, why and how is complicated.
Okay, very nice.
It's complicated because personally, I don't like the left and I don't like the right and I also don't like the middle.
Yes.
So I don't like the The choice is there. But you know me, I don't like anybody telling me what to do. Right,
Mhm.
right. I really don't think that's a good idea. But we see that countries like Slovakia
Mhm.
are open now, right?
Mhm.
Which is really really interesting. Um, and I don't know if I don't know if it's because they did everything right. Maybe Slovakia did everything right and did everything good, and maybe,
Mm.
maybe,
Maybe.
maybe. Um,
I hope. Doufám.
yeah. There's only one way to know, right?
Mm.
And the only way to know is to wait and see,
Mm. Yes.
because
Vidíme. Mm.
if you have the same problem again,
Mhm.
then it's not going to work.
Okay.
It's
Mhm.
not going to work. Look, try everything once, okay?
Mm.
Try everything once, but you, we can't have more businesses closed. We can't have more people not working, right? We can't have the schools closed. Hey, I don't like the schools, but I want the schools open, okay?
Yes, 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 I
Yeah,
understand.
I don't like it, but I want the schools open because I know what is good for other people
Mm.
with that. So we businesses need businesses need to travel. People need to travel.
Mhm.
They need to have
Yes.
they need to have meetings. They need to have business meetings. People need to be practical and logical
Mhm.
uh, because because here's the example. This week,
Mm.
one of the lights in the kitchen was broken.
Why?
So I don't know why. So
Mhm.
I tried to fix it, and
Mhm.
I'm not an electrician, so that didn't work very well. So I called an
Mhm.
electrician, and the electrician came
Mhm.
and he fixed the light and he left. Thank you. Super
Okay.
super cool. Super cool.
Good.
So an electrician can come to my flat,
Mm.
but my
Mhm.
friends can't come to my flat. My neighbors can't come to my flat. And
Why?
my
Why?
family can't come to my flat.
Huh. Where is the cause? Why? They don't visit you and electrician can go to your flat.
Well, there's no logic, right? There's no logic in that situation. There's no logic that garden centers are open,
Open ears.
but doctors are closed.
Why are doctor closed?
3 months.
Why?
3 months. All doctors closed for 3 months.
But people are sick. Where they
It's more.
can go.
It's more than that. They're not sick. They're dying. People are dying.
No. And other people are healthy.
No. People are dying. People are dying from complications all over the country because they can't get to see doctors.
Ah, why? Why?
The go- the government turned off healthcare. They just turned it off.
I don't understand why it. Why is it
Okay.
so?
Okay.
Why?
It's called Darwinism. It's called Darwinism. Darwinism is this idea that some people are good and some people are
Mhm.
bad.
Yes.
Some people are more intelligent. They should have everything.
Mhm.
Some people are less intelligent and they should not have everything. Some people are very important for society, essential, and some people are not important for society. They're non-essential. It's Darwinism. Government decided that the people at the bottom don't need healthcare.
All people need healthcare.
Yep. Think about the old people. Think about the young people. Think about the people who are sick or disabled or on medicine, or people who need operations, or people who have accidents. Right? It's crazy. Okay. I can show you something that will make your head turn round 180 degrees. Okay. I'll show you something. I got this today from a friend of mine. A friend of mine sent me this.
Your friend from Scotland?
This is a friend from England sent me this.
Yeah.
There is an organization, a famous organization in Britain called St. John's Ambulance. St. John's Ambulance. It's a medical organization of doctors. And they do a lot of work in communities to help people. And they do a lot of work with elderly people and disabled people. It's a big famous organization, right? They have a new, you can't really see it here, but they have a new procedure for CPR, resuscitation. They have a new procedure. You know, when a person has an accident and they're on the ground and they're not breathing. Yeah. In fact, let me. Now, this is the official CPR advice. CPR. This is the new. This is new, right? The new method for CPR. For resuscitation of people when they're not breathing. Let's look at it. Number one, okay? So this is how to do CPR on an adult. COVID-19. Number one. Now look at the pictures. First picture. Number one. If somebody is unconscious and not breathing normally, you do not put your face near to their face. Okay, okay. This is official in the country, across the country. This is the official method. Number two, call for an ambulance. Okay, logical. Number three, use a towel or piece of clothing and lay it over the mouth and nose of the person.
Použi utěrat?
Yes.
Proč plaknout? A lahni si do... Not normally.
You know what will happen? You know what will happen if somebody does that? The person will die.
Right. Yes.
This is the official guideline across the country. No.
It is not possible.
This is it. This is from their official guidelines. Right.
Sure.
And
Nedýchaj dost.
okay, and
Oh,
everybody is happy.
how can people be happy with
Yeah, I see.
this
See,
bullshit?
you're. I know. I told you. Your head will spin with this information, right? Your head will spin.
Yes, it's horrible. Start, John. Start just compare. And temp of staying alive. Staying alive. Yes, probably is this. Oh, she defibrillator. Okay.
Okay, now these. Okay, so two possibilities. Two possibilities. Maybe more, but let's just look at two possibilities. Number one, these people are all really stupid. all of them. Or,
Of course.
or number two,
They are not stupid.
They are not.
But
They're not stupid. They're not stupid.
Not stupid.
They're not stupid.
But people died. Will die.
People will die.
But all people are not so stupid.
After the Second World War, everybody asked the same question. How did it happen?
Yes.
After the Second World War, everybody asked the same question.
Mm.
That's why we had the Nuremberg trials. That's why we had the Nuremberg prosecutions. And everybody asked the same question. How is it possible?
How is it possible?
How is it possible? How did it happen? And remember, the first group of people employed by the Nazis were the doctors and nurses.
Yes.
The first group of people employed by the Nazis were the doctors and nurses. And that is part of what we see here. What this is, everything, and I say this every week, but it's so true. Everything is an intelligence test. Especially right now. Everything is an intelligence test. Because the system will see who will do it.
Yes.
The system will see who will do it, and these people will be promoted. The system will see. Everything is an intelligence test. Everything is to see how smart people are. Everything is a test of understanding. It's not social distancing. It's social isolation. And all studies show isolation leads to depression, which leads to stress, which leads to sickness and illness. Yeah. Now, here's a theory. All that is fact. I'll give you a little bit of theory now. Maybe yes, maybe no. Okay. If you wanted to test a new system, right? You want to test, you have an idea, you want to test a new system. You need subjects to test this on.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in the past, we used animals, right?
Yes. And they're people.
No,
Now
no, no,
people.
no.
Now
We
people.
we are the animals. Who who are the pharmaceutical companies
Mm.
testing the drugs on?
Yes.
Who are they testing the vaccinations on? The old and the young.
Yes.
The old and the young. And these are tests,
Mm-hmm.
meaning that we don't know exactly what is going to happen.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We don't know exactly what is going to happen with that. But if you wanted, this is my theory. Maybe I'm wrong with this. I don't know. If you wanted to test a new system on people,
Mm.
you would choose an island. An island.
Mm-hmm.
Because the people can't go anywhere.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
You can't test something on people in France because the people in France can go to Belgium and can
Mm-hmm.
go to Spain, and you can't test it on people in Slovakia because the people go to Poland or the Ukraine or Hungary or
Mm-hmm.
Austria or
Mm-hmm.
right. That you can go somewhere.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If you wanted to test a new system, Britain is a perfect place
Yes.
to test everything
Island. Island.
because it's an island. And
No, nobody can go out, and everybody stay in Britain and can be tested
no,
because
there's nowhere
can
to
go
yeah,
out.
there's nowhere to go.
Mm-hmm.
You stop travel from the airports. You stop
Mm-hmm.
travel from the boats and the ports.
Mm-hmm.
You tell everyone, okay, you can work from home.
Mm-hmm. Only at all.
Like it's still mostly like that
Mm-hmm.
for people here. It's very crazy. And then you experiment through the media
Mm-hmm.
with information to see how people act and how people react.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I I remember reading
Mm-hmm.
a book by H.G. Wells. H.G. Wells was a science fiction writer.
Mm-hmm.
He wrote War of the Worlds about people
Mm-hmm.
from Mars coming to Earth, and
Yes.
he wrote The Time Machine and a lot of science fiction
Science
stories.
fiction, yes.
The shape of things to come about
Mm-hmm.
the future world, and the rise of
Mm-hmm.
machines and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And probably his most famous book is War of the Worlds. Probably his most famous book. It was made into films and musicals and dramas. And,
Mm-hmm.
but on page one, on
Mm-hmm.
page one of the
Mm-hmm.
book, he says that the people of Earth had no idea. The people of the Earth had no idea that somebody was studying them. Somebody
Mm-hmm.
was studying the people. Somebody was studying everything. their systems, their habits. And it was an analogy for science,
Yes.
for how scientists study people.
Yes.
That's what scientists do.
Yes. It's principle.
Yeah, absolutely. Behaviorism. It's called behaviorism. Large universities are full of people who study medical science and psychology and psychiatry and marketing, which is a human science. Business is a human science.
Yeah.
Business is the art of persuasion, how to sell things to people. Yeah, how to change people's habits. And right now, what is happening is the control of habit and the understanding of habit and the development of new habits for people. Because depending on which science you follow or which science you believe, either you need 21 days or 8 experiences. But if you have 21 days of something, after 21 days that thing is normal. 21 days of something and then it's normal for you in your life. Completely normal. You need 21 days to adapt. Or 8 experiences, and the example of this is to hear something 8 times. If you hear the same piece of information 8 times, then your brain thinks it is true.
Yeah.
If you hear I don't know, Bolivia is a good place to go on holiday. Bolivia, you hear that 8 times, you think, oh, must be true. It must be true because I heard it 8 times. And you start to change who you are. Yeah. You start to change who you are. And part of this is not protesting that I mentioned earlier. Part of this is not protesting. If you don't protest in the first 21 days, you will never protest. Psychologically, no? You will never protest. And the psychologists know this, right? They know that if you can stop people for 21 days, that's it. They're finished. They're finished. They will never rebel, react against you if you can stop them for 21 days.
Maybe no, all people doesn't be stupid.
Are not stupid. Yeah, well, that's where you're right, and that's where things get more complicated. And one of the ways to control that is pharmaceutical control. If you are dependent on a drug and 25% of British children are dependent on at least one drug. 25% of British children.
What? Why they need use drugs?
It's a difficult question. It might be environment, it might be diet, it might be stress, it might be other look, vaccination. Okay.
Okay.
10% of Irish boys have autism. 10%. 1 in every 10 Irish children is autistic. 1 in every 10. Okay, these children need either medicine or care, special attention. Right? Now, if you need medicine, you are not going to protest or react against the system. So that's a lot of the young people, a lot of the older people who've taken some kind of medicine, and a lot of people in the middle. I don't know the statistics for like anti-anxiety medicine and things like that, but it must be very high. Yeah. Most people take some kind of drug of one kind or another.
Yes, yeah.
And so it's a level of dependence, and this goes across the spectrum from pharmaceutical drugs to cigarettes and e-cigarettes to alcohol to illegal drugs, and it's right big
and finish.
Yeah, it's sort of covers everybody, right? Even you think well, some people are fit and are healthy. Look at this. The super athletes still take something, right, as well.
Yes.
Yeah. So you're right when you say not everyone is stupid. Yeah, not everyone is stupid, but everyone is dependent on something, and these drugs come from the state, and so the state has control of, and that's why 10 years ago I took all my drugs and I threw them away. Because
you have just vitamins.
Yeah.
And
yeah, everybody has health problems, right? So, but I didn't want to be dependent on these drugs, and somebody at the door. Hello, do you want to come in? Who's there? I don't know who's there. Oh, hi, Jazz.
Jazz?
Do you want to come over and say hi? What have you got there? You brought some biscuits? Okay. Oh, look at that. Oh, you brought me half a biscuit. Thank you.